welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me for our mindfulness and yoga practice for kids and parents. My name is Amanda. I'm an instructor and yoga teacher with the Mindful Self-Compassion program through Prevent Suicide Today, and I am so excited to share some techniques and practices to help you learn to be more mindful and to just have some fun. So please join me and we'll get started. To begin our session, let's talk about what is mindfulness. So mindfulness means paying full attention to something. It means slowing down to really notice what you're doing. Being mindful is the opposite of rushing or multitasking. When we're mindful, we're taking our time. We're focusing in a relaxed way without judging ourselves for the thoughts or feelings that we may be experiencing. Mindfulness happens naturally sometimes. Let's say you're getting ready to take a foul shot in basketball. You clearly position your feet at the line, you look at the hoop, you feel the ball in your hands. Taking your time, you bounce the ball a couple times. You tune out all the other sounds. All you can hear is your breath, and you're very focused. You take the shot and swoosh. Yes, nicely done. That calm focus, that way of paying attention to what you're doing, taking your time, taking it easy, that is being mindful. And being mindful just helped you make that great shot in a basketball game. So you might be asking, why do people need mindfulness? Well, being mindful has been shown to help people pay attention better, be less distracted, to learn more, to stay calm under stress, to avoid getting too upset about things, to slow down instead of rushing around, to listen better to others, to be more patient, to get along better, to feel happier and enjoy things more. If this sounds like a superpower, well, guess what? It is. Being mindful helps people in just about every part of our lives. Learning how to be mindful when you're young gives you a chance to get really good at it and use it always. So how does mindfulness work? You need to practice mindfulness, just like you would practice anything to get really good at it. Training your mind and these practices takes practice. The more you practice, the better you get. If you practice mindfulness exercises, like some of the mindfulness practices we'll do in this video today, being mindful can come naturally when you need it in your everyday life. This can help when you're stressed, when you have something to do that's difficult, or when you have to focus your attention. Maybe when you're taking a test or doing something really challenging at school. It's a lot like learning to play the piano, and each time you practice, you're training yourself to play a little bit better. When you practice mindfulness, you're training your attention, and research shows that practicing mindfulness can improve attention for just about everybody. So you might be asking yourself, how do I get started? Well, guess what? Anyone can practice mindfulness. It's easy to do, and it really just takes a few minutes a day. Here are some ideas of basic steps to get started. Find a spot to sit in a relaxed, comfortable position. Pick something to focus your attention on, like a word or something in the room, or even your breath. You can focus on your breathing and follow along with several of the breathing practices that we'll learn in today's video. If you notice that your mind wanders away from paying attention to your breath, just know that that's natural. Our minds are made to wander, and it's okay to get distracted. Minds do this all the time. Just gently remind yourself to come back to your breath. While we do our practices today, just remember that if something doesn't work for you or doesn't feel comfortable, there's always something different you can try. We are all different and we're all made differently. So certain mindfulness practices or yoga poses might not work for you and your body. And if they don't, you can explore different ideas of things that can work for you. So while we do this practice today, I encourage you to try the different breathing techniques, the yoga poses, and the mindfulness practice that we'll do at the end called cloud watching. And again, remember, this is something you can be creative about. So find ways to make it your own practice. And that's it. You can even do some mindful eating or mindful walking. Try picking different things to focus on to help you practice training your attention. Once we practice, we get better. And so as you grow and develop in your mindfulness practice, remember that you are you. And just by doing these practices, you are showing yourself love and kindness. Thank you for joining me, and let's get started. We are going to start our mindfulness and yoga practice today with some mindful breathing techniques. Why is mindful breathing good for you, you might ask? Well, life can get really busy, overwhelming, and sometimes be downright stressful, no matter how old you are. You've probably heard the phrase, just breathe, a million times, and maybe you notice that actually taking the time to take a few deep breaths can really help you be more centered and calm and think clearly. But did you ever wonder why? Deep breaths send oxygen to our brain and soothe the part of our brain that reacts to stressful situations. When we can soothe that part of our brain called the amygdala, we are able to think more clearly and make decisions more calmly. Practicing breathing techniques when we are calm to begin with helps us learn better and remember these techniques when we need to use them in times where we're stressed or worried or sad. So let's practice these 3 breathing techniques and see which one works for you. The first breathing practice that we'll do together is called the HOBERMAN sphere breathing practice. This uses a really fun tool to give us the visual of what our lungs are doing while we inhale and exhale. To practice this, we'll inhale for 3 counts. We'll hold our breath for 3 counts, and we'll exhale for 3 counts. And we'll do this 3 times together. All right, are you ready? Here we go. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold for 1, 2, 3, and exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold for 1, 2, 3, and exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Hold for 1, 2, 3, and exhale, 1, 2, 3. Great job. Our next breathing practice will be the flower and candle breath. I want you to use your imagination and think of the most beautiful flower. We're going to start by smelling that flower, inhaling with our nose, and then magically our flower turns into a candle and we'll blow out that candle with our out breath through our mouth. All right, are you ready? Here we go. Grab that beautiful flower. Take a big inhale in and blow out that candle. And let's take another big inhale in, smell the flower, and exhale, blow that candle out. And one last time, smell that flower, and exhale, blow that candle out. The last breath that we'll practice is called the Take 5 breath. This breath uses our hands. We'll put one hand out like you're going to give someone a high five. With the other hand, we'll point our finger and we'll trace our fingers. On the up, we'll inhale, and on the down, we'll exhale. Let's try it out. All right, here we go. We have our hand out in front of us and we'll trace with our finger. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Great job, everyone. Our next activity will be a yoga practice. But what exactly is yoga? Well, yoga has been around for thousands of years. Yoga is a practice that started in India and is now very popular all around the world. Yoga is a series of physical exercises as well as breathing techniques that can help us feel calm, refresh our body and mind, as well as keeping us flexible and physically fit. Yoga is great for anyone. As we practice these yoga poses today, please make sure that anything you do feels safe in your body. If something doesn't feel comfortable, you can always feel free to adjust the poses or come up with new ones. Now we'll jump into our yoga practice. Find a comfy spot to sit on the floor. Take a few deep breaths in and out, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Our first pose will be the butterfly. Let's bring the bottom of our feet together and gently flap our wings up and down. You can take a few breaths in and out here as well. Our next yoga pose will be table. Bring your hands under your shoulders and we'll go into cat-cow. So look up at the ceiling and then look down at the ground. Look up at the ceiling, drop your belly down, and then round your back like a Halloween cat. One last time, look up at the sky and round your back, look down at the ground. Our next pose will be downward facing dog. So lift those hips high. Your feet will come underneath your hips and maybe you'll bend one knee and then the other. Maybe you'll roll over on the top of your toes. Maybe you'll make your favorite dog noise. Slowly walk towards your hands. You can grab opposite elbows and gently swing back and forth. As slow as you can, come all the way up to stand. We'll go into mountain pose. Mountains are strong, so can you find a strong base? Grounding your feet into your mat, taking a big breath in, and standing nice and tall. Our next pose will be tree. Find one leg and make it nice and strong. The other foot can come on top, kind of like a kickstand. Find a point to look at that is across from you that isn't moving. Bring your tree branches of your arms out and maybe you move your foot up onto your calf. You can bring your hands up high and stand tall. Then we'll switch. So root down the other leg, make it a strong trunk. Bring your leg onto your foot and be nice and tall. Look at something across from you. And remember to breathe. You can bring your foot up to your calf and grow your tree high. Don't worry if you wobble though. Sometimes we do that and that's okay. When you're ready, you can come back down to stand in mountain. Then we'll find a seat on our mats or on the ground. We'll give ourselves a big hug and show ourselves some kindness for our great yoga practice. And then maybe we want to place one hand or both hands on our heart and just thank ourselves for giving ourselves some healthy movement and practicing yoga today. Our last practice will be a cloud watching mindfulness activity. Have you ever spent time watching the clouds go by? If you haven't, watching clouds pass by is usually a relaxing thing to do. Often people sit down or lie on the grass and look up at the sky as the clouds slowly drift by. A lot of times clouds have shapes that look like animals or things we know, and it can be fun to play games naming the clouds. This activity is very similar to that, except we are watching our thoughts go by instead of the clouds. This activity is meant to give us a different perspective on our thoughts. It can allow us to see our thoughts as something we have the choice to keep and name, or the choice to let them keep drifting by. We'll start by finding a comfortable seat. If you would like, you can lay down. If you're seated, make sure your spine is tall, reaching the top of your head towards the sky. And we'll begin by gently softening our gaze. If you would like to close your eyes, you may, or you can leave them open, whatever you feel comfortable with. We'll gently inhale, filling up our belly full of air, and exhale, breathing out through our mouth. Repeat this breath a few times on your own, just letting your body become relaxed and soften. First, we can start just spending a few moments noticing our breathing, feeling where we feel the breath come into our body and out. And now we'll begin to notice our thoughts. Noticing means that you just see that something is there, but you don't have anything to do with it at all. You have the choice of what you do after you notice something. But noticing it is the first step before choosing. So just take some time and let those thoughts come into your mind. Is there anything you're excited about or worried about, happy or unsure about? Let a thought float around in your head like a cloud, just letting it be there like it is up in the sky. And now you can decide what to do with that thought. Is it something that is important to you, or do you want to let it go? Once you've decided, try this with another thought. Let the thought float in your head and decide what you would like to do with it. You have the power to choose what happens to your thoughts. They're just like clouds that you can let float by, or you can give a name to it. Sometimes a thought might come up that we don't like, and we can also choose to change that while it's floating in our mind. For example, you might have a thought that makes you worried. You can change the way you see this thought so that you can feel good about it, or you can just let it go. A cloud might look like a scary animal to us at first, but if we tilt our head a little, we can easily turn it into something harmless, like a bunny. We just have to change our perspective. Even if we can't see the bunny, the cloud will eventually pass by. Feel free to keep cloud watching and just examining our thoughts, drifting by, choosing to either name them, hold on to them, or just gently let them go. To finish this practice, we'll take a few deep breaths in and out. Inhaling in through our nose and out through our mouth. And when we're ready, you can gently open your eyes if they were closed, or just find some movement in your body. And just gently thank yourself for practicing this mindfulness activity today. Thank you so much for joining me in this yoga and mindfulness practice today. It was so much fun to guide you through these different breathing techniques for mindfulness, a yoga practice, and the cloud watching meditation. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or call. And if you are interested in learning more about mindful self-compassion, please see the last screen for a resource list.